How's it going, everybody? My name is Dushan. I'm here with Chris and X, and welcome to Gaming Over 30. We are coming to second to last podcast for the year. I know we kind of been on and off, but we do have them lives, and we got to live them. So we're going to use this episode to talk about a lot of stuff that I think all happened in literally the last 3 weeks. Kind of just rush it all together, kind of give our points and everything, because I know I've kind of said some stuff offline. I know Chris told me some stuff offline. I think I talked to X offline, but that's not fun. We need to come together and just be on a really free, expensive voice call, so that way everybody else can hear it both on Spotify and YouTube. Why not? Let's share our opinions to the world. And before I kind of go into that, first of all, just kind of want to give the first question for this podcast. What do y'all think about the Game Awards?
You want to start, X?
Nope, because I didn't catch
X does this thing called the parenting, and he's in his early stages of it, so he didn't get to join us on it. So I was like, did you were able to hear like any of the stuff afterward?
Baldur's Gate got Game of the Year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
that's it. Unless they
I knew that before it started.
Unless they showed it on.
That's all he cared about.
Unless they showed up.
You are a steadfast dad. I applaud you, sir.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help the conversation, so I need you to... But yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Was Baldur's Gate 3 had a pretty good year. I think a lot of people, I would have had a hard time saying people wouldn't have not agreed with it unless they just didn't pay attention to gaming for the last 4 months, or just somehow was able to hide from Baldur's Gate lingo being shoved all. I saw shorts, everywhere. I saw TikToks. I don't even have a TikTok, and I saw TikToks, all kinds of stuff, Facebook stories. I don't know why it was over there in Facebook stories.
Nothing. Stay away from the Facebook stories. Stay away from that place. That place is dangerous.
Yeah, but it happened. So I knew the game was already kind of big outside of the good old Spider-Mans and build whatever you can, The Legend of Zelda. So I knew it was already kind of big.
Well, I'll put this as an outsider that didn't watch it. Were there any big upsets as far as games that did get awarded?
That didn't get awarded?
It was expecting to be the winner of a certain category, and it just got blown out of the water.
I mean, it was a hard year, only because I do agree a lot of the games that were nominated were just good. I don't think there's any kind of way to kind of skirt around that. It's literally hey, this is kind of almost the best I had to offer, and we had a limit of 6 games, or else it would have been 10.
Yeah.
At least on the top of my head. So I think the only one that probably got the 2. So Starfield didn't really get any kind of nomination except for 1, and it was in a very hard category, which was RPG. And Spider-Man got 7 nominations and didn't get a single one, even for action adventure game, which I thought it would have did well in that category.
Who got that
personally? Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, it's an awkward choice. I think Spider-Man should have definitely gotten some love in the Game Awards and some things that had the opportunity for it, and that probably was the best one where it should have probably won it, because I don't know if you consider Legend of Zelda action adventure. You know what I mean? It's more of a puzzle game if you think about it. Even with the Tears of the Kingdom game, it was all about what can I put together to make into a weapon or a device so I could get from point A to point B, and then in between fight some things here and there. But then I'm going to figure out that puzzle and then go to that point A to point B and then finally save Zelda. So it's a weird thing to put it as the winner for action adventure, where it's there's some action and some adventure, but Zelda's always been more of a puzzle game when you look at it. And it's going back to the roots of the first one and every Ocarina of Time and everything like that. Always took elements of other games into it, but the main thing was always the puzzles. And especially in this game, because this game brought back the idea of the dungeons and stuff like that. Because I remember Breath of the Wild didn't really have dungeons; it just had the shrines. So this one actually
Mhm.
brought back dungeons, and dungeons were always big on solving the puzzles. You can move forward to the dungeon. So interesting choice to win it as action adventure.
Like I guess for me, like I definitely get like the adventure part where it's just kind of like here, there's a big open plain. We're not telling you to go forward. We're not telling you to go left and right. Um, you'll sooner or later get to the right destination if you literally just went left the entire way. But I will say, like as an adventure, like I think it worked out really good. But when I hear like action adventure, like Spider-Man just has story beats. Like Spider-Man has stuff that you were involved in. There's stuff that you're watching. There's stuff that you were kind of had to kind of pay attention to. And then kind of like a lot of the swinging kind of jumps were, I think, what Miles Morales jumping through like the different worlds and stuff or different places and stuff. Like that was just cool, even though it was, I mean, it's probably just you just kind of going straight and stuff. But just the fact that it looked like, you know, you were actually in like an undercut, you kind of feel like it, something they really kind of borrow from Ratchet and Clank's new latest game. I thought it was really nice. And like a lot of games didn't really make you feel that you're kind of really kind of in it with them as much. And so like when Legend of Zelda comes around and um I'll be honest, I haven't had a single person kind of really explain to me like its story or its purpose and stuff. I just kind of get it from the trailer because I play Legend of Zelda. Like no one's, but I don't think anybody's really even commented on like the adventure like with me outside of like, oh, it's nice that you could do this and you can do all this other kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, but I don't feel like I had anybody actually comment on the adventure part.
Yeah, it's definitely a gameplay game with story beats in it than like story focus and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
um, from like other things I've seen and stuff like that from Legend of Zelda, what they did really well was like their musical score and how they used the music to help her hit certain points and things of that you
Mm-hmm.
later on find out as you go get in further into the game and stuff like that. That certain notes lead to something else, and once you kind of put one and two together, if you can pay attention to that stuff, it's like, oh wow, that's really smart of it and stuff like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
that definitely deserves its flowers for the type of game it is and what it does and stuff like that. But the action adventure one for that specific category is like, all right, that's just at that point probably more of a popularity contest win.
Yeah. And outside of that one, feel that was difficult for Spider-Man to win the other categories. Like the voice actor one, I mean, I picked the guy for Final Fantasy for that one. I've seen though, like, you know, the TikToks and the shorts of the guy from Baldur's Gate, and I know a lot of people love that character. And
Yeah,
some of his lines are funny. Like I seen like some just really funny moments with him. It was like, you literally dropped a building on me. Like, what was, you couldn't think about anything else but that? Like, you know, it's like you can't really kind of. I mean, you could definitely write it, but the guy sold it. I would say it like that. There were just some parts where he did really good. Music, I mean, Final Fantasy was for me. If not, it would have been the literal like action rhythm game of Hi-Fi Rush. Like, I just don't
yeah,
see it really kind of winning in a lot of those categories. So like all the other ones made sense to me. And game of the year, like it was just really too difficult. 'Cause I know there is a lot of love for Alan Wake. I'm not sure if y'all had a chance to even touch it or play it, but that one had a surprising a lot of love and like respect. And I couldn't really tell if it was recency bias because it was literally like in the last like last month before the Video
yeah.
Games Award, but it seemed like a lot of people just really loved it. So I was like, okay, cool. Like if it wasn't for Baldur's Gate, I would have been really hard pressed to think that, you know, game wouldn't have been next. So
Yeah, at that point, it would have been either Legend of Zelda or Alan Wake in that battle if it wasn't for Baldur's Gate. The way I see it
yeah.
playing out in these what ifs.
Yeah, I will say that I think the biggest criticism for Spider-Man was that a lot of people felt like it was just safe, like it just kind of did the same thing, a little bit tighter, but a lot of people felt like it did the same thing. It wasn't as innovative as all the other titles, and it's like, okay, like I get that, like, but I also get the fact that unless you played it all the way through and like remember like how the last game played, is like you probably wouldn't catch a lot of the stuff that changed. Like
Yeah,
I really liked Spider-Man. I really like playing it. But I will say that it's like, yeah, well, it's the same good stuff that the last game played that everybody really liked. So I don't. kind of like with Legend of Zelda. I don't think they probably would change the formula anytime soon if everybody really liked the formula they just put out and then they really liked it again. So I
Right.
feel
I
like
mean,
that
think
become
about it.
hard.
It's kind of like their third iteration of a Spider-Man game because you had Spider-Man, the first game, and then you had a smaller game of Miles Morales to add on to it and that and different aspect. So now this one was kind of putting the two together and adding even more on top of that. You know what I mean? So it had a good foundation to go ahead and do everything and get it down to a pretty much like perfect science and stuff like that, and how Spider-Man should feel. And I didn't get to play the game, but like from hearing it and even watching some clips of that, like you can definitely tell the difference of Spider-Man's how they play, whether it's the Miles Morales, regular Spider-Man, or even like the Venom forms and stuff like that of Spider-Man. It's like they definitely had a different touch to them, and that's pretty cool to think about when it comes to a video game. Like you have to design all of that to be able to make it feel like that when it changes out. So
Yeah.
kudos to that. That's not easy.
No. X, from an outside perspective, like, did you hear anything else that happened, like from the Game Awards? Because one thing, because me and Chris saw it on live, I'm wondering what actually kind of escaped that you heard of.
The only thing I paid attention to afterwards is pretty much the trailers that came out for it, the different trailers they had for different games. Because I didn't catch the awards.
Were there anyone that you were excited?
What was it? God of War looked cool. Final Fantasy too. I really love Final Fantasy, so I was able to catch that one. And then I forgot which. The story looked cool. I just forgot the name of the game. Basically, it's a sci-fi game. The guy, sends the girl away and then gets chased by these things. I forgot the name of the game.
Oh, isn't that like, basically Interstellar? It's like, but the game version.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, I remember that.
The story got my
Yeah.
attention, so it was that one. But I mean, they're all games that I know are coming anyways. But it was fun to see the trailers for them and the crowd reaction to God of War that I saw the trailer for that one. That was cool too. So
Yeah, for that one just to be drop free was
Yeah.
also nice. To be like, hey, go play it right now. Like, it was like, well, keep watching this, but you can go play it right now,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then, like I said, like the one that was like basic. I'm gonna just call it Interstellar for now because I don't know his actual name, but I think it was a little bit too on the nose when McCartney came up and had his spill on it, and then they're like, huh, this seems exactly
Like the movie
like
you're in.
Interstellar, but like more action game, and there's aliens. I think.
Yeah.
It's like that's like all the other stuff that they just didn't do.
That's,
So I'm like, okay, like I guess I could see where it's going, but that was kind of what it spoke to me.
these things are trying to kill the human race. You have to stop it. Yep.
But you got
You can't
little
really blame them,
seconds.
right?
It's like you got little seconds, or else the world will get older.
Yeah.
Faster than you.
But it was cool. I
it was
like
pretty
the
fun.
story. I like the videos for it. I think it all looks cool.
Honestly, X, you didn't really miss much because that's kind of what the Game Awards pretty much was just a bunch of trailers and commercials in between, and then some awards here and there. So
I guess transitioning into that, like, because I know me and you, Chris, already said it in our wrap up, but just to kind of say it again, and because I've seen a lot of people now share the opinion of like, yo, you can't have 3 hours of my time, and 5 minutes is Game Awards, and 2 hours and 55 minutes is trailers, high fives, and bromance. It's like, it's one thing where it's all like, okay, y'all two are friends. Okay. Oh, Jordan Peele. Hey, how's it going? Please don't give us. Oh no, you're gonna give a speech. Okay. Well, y'all had y'all's fun talking. Oh no, he needs to go again. Okay. Sure. Okay. Wrap it up. Now on something like that's where the guy needed to come up and be like, wrap it up. Wrap
Let's go.
it up. Let's go. Not for the poor guy that's like, I want to thank my family and friends and everybody who ever met. Wrap it up, fool. Come on. We got to give out the trailers.
And that's the thing I know about the Game Awards.
Yeah.
It's just getting the summary of, all right, who won? Well, who are the nominees? Who do I think is going to win? And then who actually won? Give me the trailers. What have you guys been holding back on the trailers? And I don't think, as far as like the trailers I did see, there wasn't something that was announced that was a shock or a surprise or it hasn't been talked about before. As far as I know, like I only saw a few selective ones. But even Final Fantasy, I was like, I knew Rebirth was coming, but like there was there any trailers that were like, oh, this looks cool, and we haven't heard anything about it. That you guys watched all this, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from our perspective, honestly, I kind of wish GTA 6 was pushed for that.
Yeah, that would
just cool. So that way it had a lot more legitimacy, I guess, in that regard.
But they had the leak
it's all like, yo, man, you got it. Well, I mean, they had the leak, but they were going to say it off anyway before the Game Awards. So
right.
They were going to have, they were going to get them views no matter what. They just, they just got it earlier than they anticipated it. But it's just one of those things where that was kind of what I was waiting for. Like, it needed to be something that was kind of big that everybody was like, my prayers have been answered.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you say was Final Fantasy. We know it's coming out, and the trailer was, awesome to know what more that we can do in the game. However, like Gamescom happened, Tokyo Game Show happened. It's a Japanese RPG. We know more about it just for the sake that it's a Japanese RPG. Yeah. That's probably going to be the biggest in 2024. But it's really difficult when it's like, oh, okay, well, what are the other things? Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah, I saw that.
Cool. That was like the big reveal at the end.
Yeah, and that was a big reveal. I know some people did care about it, but I guess for me, I'm like, I wish there was more in it. Like, I wish I could see more, or feel like there was. It would have been, this game's going to be different.
It would have been a bigger pop if it wasn't the 2025 logo at the end, because you're like, okay, cool. I gotta wait a whole another year, and then even then, does that mean it's coming out at the beginning of 2025 or the end of 2025? So therefore, it's pretty much 2 years away. So it's like cool reveal, but that's a long time from now. It would have been like, if you want to save like a big pop like that for something you don't really know, you usually want to. I think it works better when it's like, okay, it's going to come out 2024. It's like, oh shoot, awesome, because it's December, so next year we're getting this new game coming out.
Is GTA 2025 too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
But they've also pointed out that every time they announce it, they push it 2 years after the announcement.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind. GTA looks cool to begin with. Monster Hunter caught me by surprise because I didn't think it was Monster Hunter until the logo came up. So at the very end, when I saw that trailer, I was like, oh, this is a Monster Hunter game? Oh, you guys got 2 years. Okay, that works.
I'll be honest, I kind of shared that too. Like, I don't think I had the hint that it was a Monster Hunter game, but I guess it had to be told to me. Like, oh yeah, don't worry, this is a Monster Hunter game, and then the dragon comes, and like, oh, hey, I know that guy.
Like, it was definitely like a Monster Hunter fan trailer. Yeah. And then the thing at the end would be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a Monster Hunter game. Because when I saw it coming out, like, this has to be Monster Hunter. This looks like, no way, it's Monster Hunter. It's like, it's gonna come out. And then at that point, I thought it's gonna come out next year because usually Monster Hunters are kind of smaller games, stuff like that, usually on Nintendo systems, stuff like that. So, and things like that. But then when it said 2025, I was like, okay, they're going big for this, but they're usually on Nintendo games. So what does that mean for Nintendo in 2025 to have that thing work on whatever system they have at that point?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, that one caught me by surprise.
Hopefully that means Switch 2.
Oh, and the Kojima game. Hiroshima Kojima.
Yeah. OD.
It was just a trailer with people staring into stuff. Like, the camera work looked amazing. But it's another one of those where, like, okay, what is this? It looks awesome. They look freaked out. What is it?
I'm going to say it, like, I'm too old for this. Like, you need to start kind of giving me more than, like, just kind of some weird bad dream vibes. It's like
it's the Kojima with no big company overload over him. He's like, I can do whatever I want. I'm gonna do whatever I want. And he did that with Death Stranding, and it took forever to kind of figure out what that game was actually gonna be. Then you found out, oh, I'm just a package delivery guy. Okay, cool, whatever. Enjoy the game, good time. And then this one's also like, all right, what the hell is this game gonna be? And it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be something you comes out later on, like, oh, it's a cool game, but you could have told us that in the beginning. You don't have to keep it hidden.
If it has the visuals it had in the trailer and is as scary as that girl, that woman at the end screaming her head off, all right, cool. The door opening, the pupil, perfect. It It was great. Can you keep it? That's the only catch.
No, I did figure out that but that one they took a long time just on stage just to talk about everything that's kind of kind of the game, kind of not the game. It was just more of today's just anticipation. Today we're just letting you know who's responsible for the next Kojima project to bless you, right? It's like we
and the way they describe it too is like, oh, it's a game, but I'm also a fan of movies, so we're gonna have some elements of that. And I'm like, okay, so it's basically gonna be like Quantum Break, where Quantum Break was a game, but at the same time also was had like live action parts into it and stuff like that, and kind of had like mini episodes of the game story going on. So it's like it's probably gonna be something around those lines like that.
Kojima's got to prove to me he saw Get Out. I need some more verification that you actually know who Jordan Peele is. And I just need something to tell me oh yeah, no, I watch his things. His things are nice.
I'm gonna say yes, just because Kojima is known to be like a big, huge movie dude. Like his one true goal in life is to make a movie, but instead he was better at games, and so he became a game designer. But he's always wanted to do movies, and so I think that's why later on you found out about A24 is going to do a Death Stranding movie, and it's like he's there, and you could tell how excited he is about that because that's what he's always wanted to do, and now it's finally coming to fruition. This guy has started finally living out his kid dreams.
Hey, look, give me a good movie. I don't care what your dream was at the beginning or the end or what you did in between. You give me something good and I'll watch it. So,
yeah, and it's A24, so they have a good repertoire. It's just kind of like what are you going to do with the Death Stranding story to make a good story behind it? Because that thing is weird on its own, and that's the one knock for that game was definitely the story. It was a story. You know what I mean? That was like the biggest knock of that game. It was more about the gameplay and the stuff you did inside of it that everyone enjoyed more.
Surprising, right? It was the gameplay that really sold it. I still haven't played it, and I'm not sure if I can even put it on the backlog, to be quite honest. It's just one of those things where it's I have way too much on the backlog. I actually re-downloaded GTA 5 just to see if I have time to really kind of jump back into it. I need to kind of I know this has been definitely Game of the Year editions and stuff like that is definitely on the shelf, but it's it's on Game Pass. Oh, okay, gotta just download it. It's play it on there just to see if
Netflix released all not all, but some GTA games on Netflix too. So you got GTA 3, San Andreas, and Miami.
That's right.
They're like, yeah, remember us? Come on back.
I was no, I saw those faces, and I was like, yeah, no, I remember that. It's one thing at a time. I'm going back one because it felt like I didn't really give GTA 5 a chance, and kind of wanted. It's let me play a little bit. If I have it on the Legion Go, maybe I'll have more time for it, instead of just on the console. Cult of the Lamb, it helped me go through that game for sure.
I love it.
Hey, liking it?
Oh yeah, Cult of the Lamb was good.
Did you beat it?
Yeah, I went ahead and spared them, and so yes, follower, you should never die. Also, marry me. It's why not? It's you're forever tied. You ain't going nowhere.
Heck yeah.
So I got to go finish. I was reorganizing stuff in that game, so I got to go back and make the machine more oiled again. But I was okay, yeah, I spend way too much just kind of looking at everything, be okay, it's the crops going, who's doing this, who's not praying fast enough, what else do I need to do, and then it's going back and doing all the extra stuff.
It's one of those studios or publishers oh, you got me on the first one, you got me. What else are you bringing out? Just like I say about Supergiant all the time, you got me on the first one, you got my money. Now what else are you bringing out?
Yeah,
definitely.
Hopefully, the next game allows me to do more of the action gameplay stuff. Because there was a lot of times where it's I will spend an hour and a half with all the other stuff, and it's I'm out of resources and I gotta go beat people up. But I got too many old people here, and they're gonna die. That's just how the game is gonna play you. And so I want to come back, and then next oh, somebody died. Faith. It was oh Jesus. Y'all can't just keep it together. Come on.
I was gone for 2 days, just 2 day.
Basically, like I was gone for 2 days, and y'all can't heat it up, and you got someone like, "You are a false
I know
god."
I'm a cult
It's like,
leader, but God,
I thought you were.
Every
dang it.
time.
I was like, "Aren't you a level 5 follower? What is going on here?" I was like, "What did I do to you? You got food, fed. You got so many traits in the green. I don't know what's going on."
I gotta come back and pick up
In the jail
food.
you
I
go.
swear to God.
I made a janitor closet for all of y'all. What are you doing? Yeah, but I had fun with that one, as you could tell. All right, let's move on to the next topic. This one's fun, and because this is, I definitely haven't talked to y'all about, and that is The Day Before. What's y'all's opinion on that?
That's the game that like just kind of came out and then said, "Oh, we're closing the studio and we're pretty much gonna try to keep your money because we have to pay off our
That's
debts."
that one.
And peace out, bro. And it's actually a really bad video game that has some possibly stolen assets or copy assets from things that are just cut and paste from the system we use.
Yeah, for what was it for everybody out there? If you haven't heard about it, The Day Before was supposed to be a MMO survival horror zombie game, aka World War Z. And they said they could do it better, and they put out trailers that people didn't believe. They put out gameplay that people called out, and Fantastic was like, "Hey, no, you say it's not right, but don't worry, it's gonna come out. We're gonna prove you all wrong." And they did. It wasn't a scam, technically, if we want to kind of stress the word. But damn, if IGN can't even give you, like a 7 out of 10, man, like you did it bad. But they got the unicorn. They got the one.
Yeah, a 1.
They like I seen 10s in the last 3 years. I don't remember the last time I saw a 1.
Yeah.
Like this game is so unplayable. It hurt. The guy said, "I'm not sure if I want to keep running it. I don't feel like it's safe to run on my PC." You got to take that and conceptualize that. I don't feel like this game with my 40, 70, whatever, is safe to run. It's like, I think I make it sound like the game itself is fishing for your information.
You gotta make it up somewhere.
It kind of became like the meme game for streamers where a lot of them played it just because it was so terribly bad. It's like, let's play this terribly bad game.
Yeah,
And it's not just terribly bad. You just can't even get. For some people, couldn't even get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
X, did you get a chance to play it at all?
No. I forgot where I heard about everything that happened with the studio and the guy refusing. Maybe one of my favorite YouTube channels to go to. But yeah, I heard everything that happened. Like, it's a scam. Is it a scam? Well, they put out something out, yeah, but they followed through on everything they promised to put out. So is it a scam? I didn't hear anything about it before until all this thing blew up. And I heard everybody complaining and all the streaming stuff that was happening. And after that, I'm not going to jump into it. Hell, I barely want to buy any game now. So it's just, I'm not going to be like, yeah, I want to join the crowd and see how terrible this is. I'm not going to give you my money. I got better things to spend it on. But no, that's with everything I heard about it. I was like, nah, that's cool.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
The other funny thing was about like people complaining. It's like, oh, like I spent money on this game. And it's like, yeah, you could just get your refund. Like, just hit up Steam, let them know that this game is really, really bad. You want your money back, and the company kind of shut down and stuff like that. Steam will probably be good about it and be like, all right, we'll give you your money back. Unless for some reason you play it for like 40 hours, and at that point you kind of just did it to yourself. Yeah. if you go deep into a game like that and then later on be like, oh, I want my money back, it's like, no, you know better.
There's some level of good faith.
Now stop.
If you spent 40 hours just trying to get into the game, even then I'd be like, I understand. No, I don't understand. You should have given up after 2. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
Like, don't you work? Don't you have a job?
Yeah, like
And are people asking? Nah, man. I will say that. Like, I think I could probably call it more of a scam based on kind of like a lot of the stuff. Like, obviously, like if it was promised to be more MMO and stuff like that, but it was a kind of like the extraction shooter, like Division. I think that's definitely what's kind of misleading. Not so big, quite honestly. It's just like I still feel like, oh, I mean, everybody can have a different definition of stuff. Massive multi, means a lot of people are playing at one time. But I think when it came down to a Reddit post that broke down every single asset that the game had from the Epic Game Store, like its price points and what they used, and the fact that the city was basically like, I'm just going to take the demo level and I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to put my characters into the demo level. And that's how we want to start the game. And on the other time, oh no, all our artists, we were working hard. We were making assets, breaking our backs, just we tired from all that work, man. Jesus, man. My right arm's kind of sore. It's when you start making particular claims and people kind of bring it out like with hard on receipts, that's kind of where I'm more into the scam part. It's like that was something provable. Like it's like, oh no, we can actually pull this stuff out. We can see where your characters came from. We can see where that light pulse came from. I mean, it's a lot of reverse engineering, but when the internet hates you, they'll pull together to find a reason.
yeah.
And yeah, like I think that's kind of where it's like, yeah, I can see why this would be more of a scam. You can't play the game. If this is your first game, like multiplayer, massive multiplayer, don't open to different regions. You should not have a servers in Europe and America. Those are like the two biggest like area plays that you can have where people would actually kind of pay $50 for a game. You can't have them both go live at the same time. It's like that's way too much management. There's just no way if you did not stress test this game that this was going to be okay. Like it's just that's impossible that was going to work out well.
And,
So
and that's the thing. I'm like, for me, I'm hard pressed. I rely on reviews and my friends, you guys, and other people to tell me, hey, what do you think about this game? Because when I'm going to go buy something, I need to make sure I can play this for a while or I can actually enjoy this because I'm hard pressed to come out the pocket for any game. So it's one of those things where if I hear that much negative press on any game, even if it was from an indie to AAA, then I'm like, nah, I don't think so. Like unless I played the demo or unless one of my boys hooked me up with the disc to try it out, nah, it's not gonna happen. And for that game, it was terrible. I heard so much stuff. I was like, nah, I'm not going near it. There's games I still want that I just haven't gotten, and I'm not gonna put those games on the back burner to get something where from you guys, from anybody else, from reviews are telling me just don't do it. I'd rather go get myself a game I actually want to get, Final Fantasy or any other of the titles that's come out this year that I'd rather get than waste it on something that's gotten so much negative reviews. And that's the worst thing you can do is you hear scam and you're like, and then I'm going to throw my money into somebody that all these people are calling a scam at the same time. Nah, that's no faith.
Yeah, and then even to the point where it was like, oh, they put out a whole thing of like, oh, the studio is shutting down and we're just gonna pay off our debts and blah blah, and that's it. And then of course the internet is the internet, and they found out that the studio had opened up another studio and stuff like that on the side to try to keep it like on the down low and everything. They're like, what's this? What's this? What's it? Why is this company name under yours and everything and considered a new studio? What's this? This isn't right. We got you. We got you. You're not gonna get away with this.
Like, I'm all for taking the risk. Like, take the risk, try to make the game, and if you fail, hey, it failed and everything else. But you failed. You try to do right by the people that bought in with you. At least give them a refund or so. Hey, I'll make it up to you on the next game that we have come out. You get a free copy of the next game project that we try to do or something. But to go in and be like, yeah, it failed. Thanks for trying it. But by the way, next week Like, come on now. That's scam me to me.
Well, they did a lot of things where it was basically like, we can see you, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can't change the company name. Now everybody knows it as, a verb, man. Like, it's like, you want to bring out another fantastic game? I was like, you better, it's just, like, it was just, just doing stuff afterward. And, when you kind of, like, see, like, the Cyberpunk issue, or you see, like, the Diablo 4, kind of all that stuff where it's like, hey, I understand some parts didn't meet expectation. Halo Infinite was one too. Hey, sorry, didn't meet expectation stuff, but we're already working hard. We hear the feedback pretty loud and clear. We're gonna address them one by one, blah blah blah. This company, we are shutting down because we have failed epically. We done. We money gone. And any money we have, we just gonna pay off, people. That's basically what it sounded like. It's like, oh, we just gonna pay off the people because while the civil, there may be a civil lawsuit, our partners will definitely sue us. They don't have to do that. They can get the money that they want. So we're gonna pay them so that way they get their bag and stuff. But we're not gonna try. We're just we're not built like that. I mean, we made games before, but we ain't built like this. So we just company done.
But that's why you get that loyalty. I think we had this talk before, even when it came to Cyberpunk. They burned that bridge when Cyberpunk first came out. CD Projekt Red lit that shit on fire. But along the way, that game is fun to play. It's been patched, it's been reworked. It looks amazing. They've made up, and it's all that customer faith. Does the customer have faith in what you're putting out? You'll get the pre-order if they know you're putting out something good. Those indie studios, the one that made Call of the Lamb, forgive me for not remembering the studio. You guys remember it?
It was like Massive something.
Yeah.
Massive Monster.
I'll have to look
like
it up because I do want to give them credit. But those smaller studios, even to the bigger ones, Call of the Lamb, Supergiant Studio, CD Projekt Red, what were the other ones? The one that made Bethesda was actually a good one too, and the ones that made Dragon Age Origins and Mass Effect, all those. You have faith that these guys are actually working really hard to do what they have to do, from indie to big ones. And they go, hey, we're putting out a new game. We hope you like it. Well, I like the last one you put out. You guys screwed some things up maybe, but you fixed it. You're getting my money on day one when it comes out, or you're going to get the pre-order to help you build whatever you're building, because I have faith in that studio. I have faith in that name, in that brand. When studios like this one came out, we're shutting down. Once again, it seems kind of scammy to me. If your name's on there, anywhere on there, I want nothing to do with you. If CD Projekt Red had to come back and fix it, I want nothing to do with you.
I'll be honest, like, I just really felt like, or I at least thought they would have tried to play the month out, right? Get to January 1st, even if they were like trying to work on it little bit by little bit, just do their best or whatever. Like, for me, it's like the signs had to be so strong, and they had to have so many people, like, important people behind them saying stuff, where they're like, you know what? I don't think it's worth trying to protect this. We'll create another company, do some other stuff, and close down this part of the studio, blah, blah, blah. Like, a lot of stuff had to be very apparent, because I just don't see a game company today like closing immediately after the game launch. Like, I know that stuff with Saint Row happened, but that took a while. That was a lot of stuff that kind of happened with that. Like, they just didn't say like, oh, we're not gonna bother with it. Sorry, we're done. We don't want to be game developers no more. Like,
and I like
this one was kind of like, yeah, and this one was just kind of like, hey, well, we put out something, so you can't call it a scam. Bye. It's like, it's just like, it feels bad, even though it's like for me, like, I guess really it was like, I wasn't really interested in this. Like, I don't really want to kind of play a game like this. Like, I have a hard time playing Resident Evil and then trying to play Resident Evil all the time. Like, it's just kind of hard for me to really get into it. But it's one of those things where it's like, I just, maybe because I wasn't interested that it kind of saved me, because when they told me it was the number one wish list game on Steam, when I'm like, I haven't heard not one person tell me to wish list this. You know how many times I heard a YouTuber game developer tell me to wish list their game? All the time. I hear it in my sleep. I have never heard somebody tell me they were going, the wish list the day before. I have always heard that it was like, nah, this game ain't real. Nah, they basically ripped off The Last of Us right here and here. It's shot here, here, and here. It was literally the same colors. Like if I just put like the Govee light on it, it would shine the same colors in the room for each one. Like that's just how similar it was. So it's just like, oh god, like no, like everything about this was kind of bad. So I mean, it saved me from buying it, but like for the people that were really, really excited for this, we're like, hey man, like we gotta try, we gotta, the little guy needs support and his need, and then like this happens, and it's like, oh
Yeah, and you were right.
ooh.
The developer was for Cult of the Lamb, Massive Monster, and the publisher was Devolver Digital. So,
Yeah,
shout out to Massive Monster. Cult of the Lamb is sick, and we're having lots of fun with it. So thank you.
yes, but yeah. So I'm not sure if I had any kind of more feelings on that, but for me, it was just kind of like this was a nice disaster. A lot of like YouTube watching about the whole situation, and people kind of tearing it down, and some people trying to have the best fun that they could with the NPCs that look like they were staring past you more so than some games.
You want to be a positive
like,
meme. You want to be a positive meme. You don't want to be the butt of the jokes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
yeah, I don't know if you have more to say about it, but that's just, it's like it was a fun ride the first week of December.
Like I said, that
I hope it's gone just like they shut down.
yeah, they're the example of all the other times I mentioned those. I love those studios. They are the example of why I'm so die hard on those studios. That we got to salvage our name, even if it cost us, what was it, 128 million for Cyberpunk? Like even if it cost us this much, brand loyalty. Blizzard had that once. I think they still do.
Speaking about that, because you brought up how much it costs to really kind of repair damages and stuff like that. The next topic to get into, is the Insomniac leaks. I'm not sure that this is probably the most recent thing outside of our other topic that we want to talk about today, of like something that just happened this week and stuff like that.
Yeah, that one sucked.
So let's be honest. Did anybody watch or see any of the things that got leaked?
Well,
I've seen bits and pieces.
What exactly happened? For anybody that's not in the know-how as to what happened with the Insomniac leak.
Cool. Yeah. Let's start with that. So, for all the listeners and stuff, if you haven't seen it, or if you haven't seen a lot of people kind of talk about and address it, Insomniac, they are the people behind like Ratchet & Clank, the Spider-Man game we were just talking about earlier. They're behind a lot of popular IPs for Sony. I think they're a Sony first party publisher at this point.
Yes, I think so.
They are also responsible for Wolverine coming out and some other titles. And they got hit with a really big ransomware attack. Now, the difference between this ransomware attack and others is that they basically had somebody in the system that got credentials from just kind of prying into stuff, and slowly got data over time. They were able to amass amount under 2 terabytes of data, and that data had expanded from their dealings with Marvel, what their next games was, how much money they were spending on development. I think they said Spider-Man was like 210 million,
something like that. Yeah.
Game. And kind of the stuff that had to go right that. But the biggest thing was the release of the footage for Wolverine, because Insomniac has never shown gameplay of Wolverine at all. And these people who were like, hey, You don't pay the money. You got 7 days. If not, everybody gonna see it, or I'm going to sell it to somebody else.
They sold parts of it.
Insomniac was like,
They did sell, from what I understand, they did sell some of it. They released a lot of most of it, but they sold some of it. Don't know who bought it. Don't know who
well,
who got
well, it was supposed to be like a batch
Yeah.
thing, if I remember correctly. Like on the black or dark web, it was like a batch sale. Like, hey, you get all this good juicy stuff. But it just showed a lot of internal conversations of people prior and stuff coming up. But it did show Wolverine gameplay as well as pretty much a build of the game. If you have a PS5 that is more of a dev kit and stuff like that, you would be able to jankily play the Wolverine game. Now,
and the story and the
that
plots and everything else.
yeah. Well, yeah, hopefully I don't think you could play like the entire game. I didn't go that deep into it, but there's enough out there to show you how Wolverine's going to play, and 100% demystifies pretty much like the game itself. You could definitely tell it's a Insomniac game and stuff, but it is tragic because it's a project that it just happened with Grand Theft Auto 6 not too long ago. It's like it's getting ready for the big day. We're about to push it out and all that, and then somebody says, "Hey, I want to see it now," and push it out, and then kind of took the steam from like just a really happy moment for the studio. And this is far worse, right? Because it's not just the game, it's personal information, it's personal conversations, it's a lot of stuff that somebody felt, hey, this is juicy and everybody wants to see it for a price. And it sucks. It really does, because it's and Insomniac's probably not gonna put out anything for a good bit. I don't even know when Wolverine's coming out. But this shows like a lot of their stuff, and it really does suck. And I think the group we already know who the group was. Of course, these groups always announce themselves. They always take the credit. Why not? That's just kind of how they are. But here we weren't really showing a gameplay or anything else. It's not really kind of worth it. And if I could encourage people to not go search it out, please. Especially if it's anything with like the messages, like definitely like I wasn't going to look at that. You don't know what's going to be there and all that. So if you could hold yourself, don't keep the surprise, to the best of your ability. But it does suck. It was very unfortunate. What are y'all's thoughts?
It's even worse because I know they actually had some of the developers like personal information and stuff like that. They released out there and stuff like that. And it's like, that's not like, you don't do that to people who are just trying to make a video game. Like, that's absolutely asinine and ridiculous to do things like that, or even just to even try and DOS a company like that for a freaking video game. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if you could do something way better with that type of ability and stuff like that to get actual important information out there over just a dumb video game, like you're literally attacking a toy, because that's pretty much what video games are. They're expensive toys to just entertain you, have fun with it, and that's it. And they made an industry around it, just like the movie industry and stuff like that. So you're really just wasting your time and efforts on, and what you could use on much better stuff. But honestly, the way I am in person like that, you could use it to attack some politicians that definitely need it out there. Get those people, get their information, get their stuff, put it out there. Some of those people don't need to be in the office, so why not use those talents for that? Because they'll probably get you an FBI job in a good manner instead of getting thrown in jail.
Oh, you might still get thrown in jail and get that job. So.
Well, jail first, and then you got a choice: stay here or.
Well, yeah, like I saw the leak. There was like I saw a quick thing about it. There's 50 bitcoins, about $2 million, and I agree with you, D. It sucks.
20.
It sucks for the studio, yes, but all the people that actually. Because I think it takes a certain level of zeal, a certain level of passion to make these things and be excited for it. Because I know it's just a job to some people, but some of these people really are dedicated to their craft. And they're really excited about putting all this stuff out. And it sucks that it takes a win out of it. You know, I I'm not saying go for anybody else, but you're right. You if you got the massive skill set, I can't say it either way. I can't, you know, I can't say it either way. But I feel bad for the people that are dedicated to the game that wanted to see the reaction and the surprise of the people of all the hard work you put into it. I feel bad for the actual engineers, the artists, those people that contributed to the game. I do feel bad for them that were looking for the reaction. That's not just a, I did my 2 cents, but hey, I'm proud because, check it out. This is what we did. Even when it came to the Grand Theft Auto 6, like, I heard it leaked. I didn't care. I actually wanted the official trailer. But I guess,
Right.
you know, I don't doubt you guys go looking for it even if it leaked. I read the story that this stuff leaked. I don't go out looking for like, oh, what's the story? What's the gameplay? What's the footage? What am I missing? I don't care if I'm gonna end up getting the game. If the game was good, then I'm gonna get it one way or another, hopefully.
Yeah.
So
Especially because when it comes to video games, they take a long time to make. So there's stuff that they're leaking out and stuff like that. Like, that's not the final product. So, like, there's no point to make a huge effort to try and make a whole thing about this or reach out and look for this information and stuff like that, because that's not going to be the final product. You're going to get like ideas of what they're heading towards and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's not where you're just going to be in your hands and the controller that you're actually going to play when it actually releases. And it also goes to the idea of like, I've seen it talked around a lot, and I'm a believer of this, where the video game industry kind of needs to go away from trying to be so secretive and trying to get those giant big pops for everything when it comes to releasing new things, and lean more towards like the movie side of it, where they start announcing it, and then it's like, okay, this is going on, and then they keep going on with those information and kind of dribble that information out as it starts getting developed. That way, it kind of alleviates the audience to like wait and be like, oh wait, what's he doing? Well, when are we going to hear more information about it? When is it going to happen? This and that. You know what I mean? You get that dumb anxiousness that people shouldn't have over these toys and entertainment aspects of things and stuff like that, and help out to slow it down a little bit. I mean, like, that's what kind of helped out the movie industry from not being attacked as much and stuff like that. And I could see games going the same way, and in a way they should do it. And then you could still work it to have those big pops for when you're going to release like a brand new game and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because you can still keep those on the down low, then release it, and then after that, just keep trickling more effects and stuff like that as it gets closer to release time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you're not looking to be spoiled by, oh, I can't wait. Like, if it's not coming from the studio or the company or whatever, if I can't wait, I just have to see whatever comes out there, then, that's on you. I'm not gonna. If you're gonna find the leaks, you're gonna find the leaks. If you're gonna find any bit of information you can to get the game or whatever, even the movie, before anybody else, because you just have to know right now. Okay, but for me, it turns into, well, okay, it's leaked out there. Okay, it's like The Last of Us. You know how long I went without having to see spoilers for The Last of Us? I still haven't beat that bloody game, and I still don't know what's like happens in the story. It's because I'm not actively looking for spoilers on that stuff. The type of stuff I try to look up is just, okay, well, the lore is there. I want to know more about it, but I'm not active digging for what's behind the door for some of these things that I can be like, hey, when it comes out, it's good. I grab it. Am I like, is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? I don't care. If the game is good when it releases, I'll grab it. I'll pick it up. If they had a leak, hopefully if they go back, like, that's why I was mentioning the story. To me, what matters is the story on Wolverine. As far as I knew, they also got the story with the plots and what's going to happen in it. If they go back and rework that story and it's better than what's already been out there, because they're getting a gauge of, oh, well, people seen the leak and now people don't like how the story's heading or the direction or whatever, and they change it for the better, it helps out either way. And even for the hacker group, if they would have gotten their money, it would have been a paycheck. They could have, just followed the word and say, hey, now we're destroying it all. We're going to leave you it all. You paid us. It's all good. Because as crazy as it sounds, all you got is your word in this case. And I hate to put it that way. You didn't pay us. We're going to release this information. They didn't get a paycheck out of it, But that lets any other studio, company, movie, or otherwise know that when it comes to this hacker group, they're not bluffing. So either way, they get caught either way. They get their paycheck, or they get the recognition of, now when we go to another group or another studio, look, you saw what we did to them. We're not playing. Pay us or else. It's a win for those guys either way. And unless they're getting tracked down or FBI, whoever is looking for these guys, it's still, it's still a win for them either way. And depending on how they spin it, Insomniac spins it, if they can turn around and be like, well, what are we gauging? Are we getting good reactions to the leaks and all the other stuff on the game, not the personal emails? Because I know that's part of the stuff that leaked, the chats and all that. On the game itself, are we getting good reactions on the how are people taking this, or is it okay? Then that they can hopefully spin it to be some kind of positive. But it's a loss for the studio, yeah. It's a win for the hackers, yeah.
I think what really sucks about this type of attack, and why it hurts games the most, is that they didn't really encrypt their systems. They didn't try to get the admin privileges. They didn't try to kind of have, ransomware kind of run buck wild as much and then encrypt everything. Like, that's not what they did. There have been attacks like that in the past where basically, if a company, especially big companies, if their systems are not updated, if they don't have regular backups of their workers' work and all the other stuff, they can't turnkey a solution. There's a lot of issues that I've seen in the past that have devastated a company when trying to fix that kind of stuff. But at least in that situation, if it's like, okay, can we pay to unlock all this? And then we kind of go away, sure, and then we go back and scrub the system. But unfortunately, this type of attack is like, no, we don't care about that. We don't care about locking your system. What we want is what you actually have. That's the thing, and we have it now. And so it's a lose-lose no matter what for Insomniac, because there's just, again, like you said, there's no guarantee. Like, they can take the money, still do it. Like, there's no gentleman agreement in this. Yeah. It's, hey, you got 20 million, I want it. And if I don't get it, people gonna get this. And if you don't want people to get it, you don't have a choice, publisher.
But even on that side, that's what I'm saying. It's like PR. Like we've been talking about. It's your word.
Yeah.
If they were to get to 2 million and still publish shit, then everybody's, well, we're never going to pay you because you're going to do it anyways. So it's on them to keep their word. They don't get the money. They publish it. And now they can go to any other studio, or if they attack anyone, it's us. Hi. You saw what we did to the other guy. Are you going to play ball or not? They can just keep on, but that's all based on, are you guys going to keep your side of the bargain or not? Right? Because at the end of the day, it's about getting their money. It's about getting your money. Insomniac is just every company that gets hit is a stepping stone to the bigger paycheck. Who's going to play ball? Who's going to play ball and stay quiet about it and, move on to the next bigger one? Some people will, some people don't. But either way, you're building a rep. So it's a cat and mouse game at the end of the day. Because these studios, whether it's a studio or movies or something like that, they are looking at each other like, hey, you might be next. We got to do something about this. So you're on the clock.
Yeah. And like I said, it's just one of those things where, unfortunately for Insomniac, there was none. And most people would tell you to never pay in a situation like this. Like, best case scenario, they just waste the time. You take a hit. But, good thing for Insomniac, they do have that rep. They do have their, a lot of their goodwill, good faith, and all that other jazz.
Yeah.
The thing I do want to kind of transfer the conversation to, which is the thing I have to hit on, because I think it's insane that we still have to say this. What you saw wasn't the final build of the game. They did not get the final build of Wolverine. It is a test at best. yes, some systems are there because Insomniac uses the same engine for all their games, builds on the top of the same style, same everything. So it's not going to be super, super different. I think we should all be aware of this. Why are you shitting on the game? Why are you saying how bad the game is and all that? Like you're kind of missing the point of all like what just happened. And it's like, well, the information's out. Now we should all criticize it. No, because you know the information that's out is either early. We don't know when they got the information. We don't know how recent these builds are, and only Insomniac knows. And why would they say it? So why are we talking about like, oh, this game bad? Like this little thing happened with GTA 6 when their builds got stolen, and it was like, oh, look at this. Like, unfortunately, we know like the main character, there's going to be a girl in there, there's going to be a guy. Like that kind of ruined kind of like the surprise for the trailer and stuff. But as you can see, people are still excited about it. I just checked right now while we were talking. That video has 155 million like views for a minute and 30-second trailer.
I'll go watch it again.
But yeah, I think I probably saw it 4 times just because I've been watching other people watch it in their videos. And while Insomniac's going to have that good rep, it's just the fact that like I just don't understand why there's people that are like, yo, I need to say my opinion because I need to let them know they're on the wrong track. And it's like, again, why? Like what? Like why did you have to put your opinion on this? Like it doesn't even help in the situation. And honestly, it gets overshadowed by what just happened.
It's just the couch quarterback scenario and stuff like that, but thrown now into the internet and in games where you have that person who's on the couch and they think they know how to play the game. They think they know how to be the better quarterback than the guy who's actually playing the game and stuff like that. So they're yelling at the couch, and now it's like, okay, now that I have a Twitter account, I can yell at that quarterback on Twitter or on Instagram and be like, what are you doing on this throw? You're supposed to do this and that, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you're not there. You're not reading the defense. You're not in that actual situation with 50,000 people yelling at you and stuff like that. You have no clue. Like, you're just being an ass, you know what I mean, at that point. And this just kind of goes the same thing, where it's these same people and it's like, oh, I messed up this game. Why would you do that? And this and that. It's like, you don't know. You have no idea what they're doing. And stuff like that. You are just yelling at a freaking sky in the air of a little thing, trying to tell someone what they're doing when you have no idea what's going on. And those are the things that like absolutely drive me insane, and like what drives me crazy about the internet for the most part. So it's like you just need to stop. Like, you are wasting so much energy and time of yourself to send that message out to the world so that someone can hopefully like it and agree with you. And when you get those agreements, like, no one really cares because you're like, it absolutely means nothing. And that's when I go to people and it's like, whoever's doing that stuff, you probably have some therapy, and you need to get some therapy done on you and stuff like that, and actually go outside, touch some grass, get away from the internet, get it off your phone, and kind of realize that there's actually a world out there. Because guess what? While you're trying to yell at that person about how their quote unquote game is bad already, you're probably not doing a good job at some part of your job or your life as well. And so you could have someone else just yell at you right back about that part of what's going on in your life and treat you the same way for that. But you don't want that to happen. So, you got to put the shoe on the other foot and just kind of stop that.
Yeah, it was just entirely insane because it was like, oh, well, it doesn't look as good as the trailer that you showed us. It's like, how many games do you know where the pre-trailer and what actually comes out are always 1-to-1? Like, we know how movies work. We know how rendering works. I think everybody has a fundamental understanding of how a rendered trailer versus you playing the game, dynamic and all that, should be. Why are we comparing these two? Like, you're literally comparing, the movie to like, the paper, product of the storyboard. It's like, I just don't understand why you're trying to make this correlation. You're wrong. No one should have to tell you you're wrong. Like, this is factually, like, doesn't make sense to even have this conversation.
But that's what I'm saying. There are going to be people out there with their opinions regardless. They're going to look for those leaks. They're going to look for that gameplay and base it off all that anyways. And it's fine. You're going to critique stuff, whatever. Everybody has, an entitlement to their opinion. It's what Insomniac does afterwards. If they go to those random videos and see these people critiquing it, and they go, well, now we have to change it all based on what did leak and how they're seeing it. How will Insomniac spin this to better serve them? Because it's all a shit show anyway. So how are you gonna take this and make something worthwhile out of you? You saved $2 million on not paying this. Your assets are out. Your chats are out. Your assets are out. The story's out. Everything's out. Okay, what does it feel like? What are people saying? For the ones that are seeing all these leaks and everything else, what are people saying? And how can we turn that and actually make it better or change this to improve this? And now it's already out there. So take more time and polish it and make, they know it exists. We know that game exists. We know that they're working on it. So if you have to take more time,
Basically, farm the feedback.
yeah, just take more time to do what you got to do. Keep on working on that game. The people that were there before to saying, "Oh, I'm excited for Wolverine," are going to people like myself. I'm not looking for anything for it. I'm excited for Wolverine. When you guys release something official, something you approve and something you like, I'm going to give my opinion then and be like, okay, I don't like this. I like this. And when you release the game, my money will tell you whether it was good enough for me to buy it. That's it. But they have to turn it into something positive. Like I said, it's a lose, but they got to make it something. The hackers, it's a win-win either way. And then us as the public, just whether you want to see it, okay, cool, go watch it. Just like you guys have been saying, it's early build. This is a very first look at everything that's going on. It's just confirmation it exists and it's being worked on. And for people like us that don't care to see all the leaks, just let me know when you're ready. Like I liked old school Blizzard's approach. Hey, it's ready when it's ready. We'll get back to you. And you can always count on, okay, if they're saying that it's going to take some time, then they know what they're doing. I can wait. Blizzard then. But
And it's like I'm starting to see that too a lot. Like a lot of the studios now they're trying their best to take their time. I think some have shown where it's like, hey, like there's some, like you understand every situation is new or unique in that way where it's like, hey, we had to do the best what we had. Stuff had to be pushed out. Our hands were tied. We know they could have been different, but not everybody. And I think that's why a lot of people give credit to Rockstar, who is still able to kind of do a lot of more self-publishing and basically have the money to pay themselves out. Granted, I still flabbergasted on how much GTA Online is making, to be quite honest.
yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I guess, and I'm not saying the game's bad, I'm not saying the game's good. I'm just saying kudos for having a game run for 10 years and make as much money as it has. In the midst of all the other games that like Fortnite and all that are still going on. It's one of those things where it's like I do see like change and like trying to put out the projects and stuff, and I think that's why this hurts so much in a lot of cases, because it's like there's a lot of people that their jobs were really riding on this, and kind of what X said, like you want to try to take this the segment of how people feel the best that you can, and try to filter out who's just angry and who is trying to get some criticism. And unfortunately, it's one of those things where they can easily just be like, well, everybody's just saying stuff because they want to say stuff. So we're not going to take any of it seriously. Because if we did, we'll lose our minds. It's like Susie's in the corner already crying because that one shy didn't work out well. So maybe we just, for our own sake, don't do it. And that's really difficult, right? Like it's, this is someone's passion project. This is someone, they were in college for 4, 5, 6 years, finally got this job, and this was their first game, their first big project, and it's already out there, and people are all like, yo, you work at that company? You suck. Like, I saw your game. You can do better. And I seen it. Like, I hate to, say that it happens, but I seen people who don't make games, who don't attempt the craft, who are just straight up like, oh, something was wrong because they were incompetent. Whether it's the management was incompetent, whether it's the developers, weren't good. I've seen so much stuff be like thrown out about this from the diversity side, like, oh, maybe because of all this change that they've happened, all the, and I even with Grand Theft Auto 6, like I'm still trying to figure out why the whole people still try to ban like this game existence. Look, Mortal Kombat and Grand Theft Auto ain't going anywhere. They're the only really two games that kind of stick with their thing and dive really hard into it. Get over it. Like they lasted longer than some of y'all's relationships at the time. Just leave it alone.
And I will continue to buy
It's
them.
one of those it's just one of those things where it's all like, I just don't get like a lot of this random ass hate. And I see it a lot. I see it in spades. Everybody doesn't know what's behind the curtain, but they're gonna say it. And like you said, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I welcome it. I think everybody should share their opinion. It's just weird when it's like it's not a small minority where really feels like there is like a culture shift change that we are expecting perfection at all times, even in a pre-alpha build of a game that we have never seen gameplay of to really even compare it to. It's weird.
And that's
Yeah,
the thing.
that goes into the whole idea of go ahead, X. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like D said, at the end of the day, these are just regular people. Like I have a Twitter, but if I'm being told I suck, I'm terrible at my job, I'm doing all these things, all these negative things constantly every day. I mean, I'm not in a big software company or anything, but it's one of those things where like, damn, do I suck every day? Like, what am I doing with myself? And it's like some people don't deserve that. They don't deserve to be attacked for trying to do something or working their job that they are genuinely working hard at it. Hopefully, I mean, if they're doing it and they're happy about what they're doing and they're going after it, they don't deserve to have to hear that every day. So it's just one of those things where like you want to take the criticism, but like Dee was saying, you got to filter it out. You got to be able to filter, okay, this is a genuine criticism, and then this is just people trying to rag on me. Like they're just trying to like blow up my day and make me feel miserable. So I'd say look at the good criticism that's genuinely trying to point things out and stay away from the, you work at this company, you should die type crap. Like, go on and find something better to do. go live a better life or something. Life's hard as it is already.
It goes into my it goes to my whole spiel of people take a lot of these things way too seriously, and the point of like, not everything has to be perfect. For one, sometimes things could be dumb and fun, and that's okay. And not anything has to always be game of the year, Oscar-worthy winning movie, top track in the whole entire world to be top chart, stuff like that. Like, there's so much in this world, and when it comes to entertainment and stuff like that, where you could just have a good time, enjoy what it is for what it is, and just move on about your day, instead of trying to take everything apart about it, especially when it comes to something like a extremely pre-built version of this, and try and rip it apart and tell it why it sucks. It's like you're literally yelling for no reason, and you're just not letting these people do what they want to do and what they passionately feel to do and want to love to do, and enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, not everything needs to be the top thing in the world, and we don't want everything to be top in the world, because that would just suck, because then everything would be the same all the time. You want things to be different. You want things to be out there. You want things to try new things, because if you don't do that, then how are we supposed to keep growing and learning new things?
And I think the worst part of all about it, these aren't young people saying this stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are gamers over 30, like having these opinions. And like that's always kind of a weird thing for me. Like, I understand like the younger generation could be impatient, but I don't really see them dogpile like the same way. Like, everybody has their own opinions and stuff like that. But like a lot of like the more daggerish kind of comments that I've seen have been a lot of older gamers, and I'm just very surprised, right? Like, 'cause just from us being on this call, like I could see us being very nonchalant with the whole thing, or nonchalant. Just like, oh, it's just, oh, well, we're just Elite tap in. Okay, well, it's not ready yet. I mean, we don't really have to process. Like, we don't really need the tree in our mind. Just be like, okay, yes, no, no, yes, no, yeah. Okay, it's not a big thing. It's just kind of comes natural. Like, oh yeah, I don't have all the time of the day in the world to kind of really play all the games. So if you gotta take time, don't worry, I'll be here. It's like I'll still be playing. As long as you release it on the system that I actually own. It's that's the only thing I ask for. But it's one of those things where it's like, again, like why are there some people that are seem like they're just so ready to pop off like a shotgun? They have to say everything. They have to say it everywhere. It's like I understand like stuff in Twitter can go, fly out and stuff like that. But it's just, again, it's just surprising that it's not a small number.
And that's the thing. I hate to bring it to a rocky moment on this, but it's you're gonna fail. If it's you're doing your best, you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail over it. But when it comes to those studios, not scamming, everything we're saying does not apply if you're trying to scam people out of their money. But if you're gonna fail trying your best at doing something, and people are constantly just crapping all over your work and everything, it just take the criticism you're getting on your work, not you. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, I don't like how this plays out. You suck. Okay, cut out the you suck part. Why don't you like how this plays out? Why don't you like the gameplay? The story not going the direction that you wanted. These moves don't react the way you want them to. Or do I have delays? You got to pull away that criticism, because like I said, we all have our opinions, and we all play different ways and different things. But you're not attacking the artist. You're not trying to attack the engineer, the developer, any of the people in the studio. You're going after their work for what you believe is, in your opinion, a better way of approaching it. It doesn't need to involve you suck, you're terrible, go die. Why are you in that studio? Screw all that noise. If you're going to critique the work and say why. Like, why does that work suck? Okay, I can take the criticism, but an everyday person, I mean, you'll see with the kids these days, that's why social media, I think, is so bad for teenagers and all that, because you can't get away from it. And that's where these people are caught up on. Well, I mean, they're kids. Even as adults, you don't want to hear that crap every day. Help me be better at what I'm doing to help try to bring you into the circle as to enjoying what I like or enjoying what you like.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't fit you, okay, then move on. But all the other attacks and trolling isn't necessary. If you genuinely want to get involved in what I'm doing, then tell me how I can do something better or improve on something to fit what you like. And if you don't like it, don't waste your time. I won't waste my time trying to adapt to that new audience, that new person, and we can go in different directions. It doesn't have to go into one of these things, well, you suck because blah, 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 blah. Well, no, you suck because it's a waste of time and it's a waste of energy. So that's what I hope for those studios, especially the private messages and all that. I hope that developers continue doing what they enjoy and doing their best at it without taking all the flack from Twitter and any other social media, and being able to pull out the critiques without having to take the hits for the character or who they are. If it has nothing to do with the game that they're doing, then I don't see a point to it. If it's something they did as a person, not a developer, then you can have your opinion on that. But if it's their work and you're sticking to the work, give criticism about their work, not attacking the character, who they are.
So I'm glad we all agree. It's like it's just one of those things and stuff like that is good. The council has spoken.
We all know there's humans doing this stuff and they have feelings, and we need to be respectful about that.
And you can have your critiques, but keep it to the work, not the individual, unless they did something horrible.
Yeah.
Just don't be an asshole.
Yeah,
Number one rule that I always go by: just don't be an asshole. That's it.
unless they're a horrible person or did something terrible. I see no reason to attack the individual.
With that, we're down to our last topic. We've talked about the Game Awards. We talked about the things that we've seen that's coming out. We talked about the horrible. We talked about the good. Let's talk about some strange stuff that just happened, last week. On last week today. Twitch's rules and that whole saga that happened with that. This isn't about a video game come out or anything like this, but I think Twitch is a big enough platform where we stream on sometimes, where we kind of need to talk about like stuff that happens with it, because stuff that happens with that kind of affect gaming in a different way. And for people who don't know, like what happened, Twitch tried to apply some new rules around artistic nudity. We'll just roll with that because that's probably the best word for it. Is, hey, we did see those people pretending to be topless on it, and we want to try and give some breathing room for people to allow new content in without hurting people. Well, hurting their money and really our money. So we want to try and make it a little bit more broad and have stuff come up, kind of give some people some leeway, stuff like that. Y'all are adults. We don't have a lot of people under 18 stream, so I think now are very respectful people. And there was no respect for 24 hours. There was a lot of testing of the grounds of what could be artistic nudity, such as drawing, erect male parts, a lot of furry stuff that people don't want to see most furry things already, but people didn't want to see what would happen that day. And even a lot of VTubers that were like, hey, want to see my model naked? Don't worry. It's not my real body. Artistic nudity. And basically, it was everybody trying to push the limits. And Twitch, after getting egg on their face and getting punched a few times, and was like, okay, we thought wrong. We're just going to scratch it. Because obviously, we tried to have better moderation, but you made us moderate even more. You made us overcorrect again. So, no, we're going back to the old rule. Keep that stuff hidden. Wear a bikini if you have to. Whatever you got to do. Just quit being weird. Like, that's all we're asking. Like, our money comes from people who don't want their stuff next to weird things. And the last thing we need is you to go online for 8 hours and, Shaman be like, okay, so we're trying to do toilet paper. Why? What is this stuff? And why is our ad playing on it?
Furries. Had to be furries.
It's like, look, it's just, it was a very interesting week. And I understand that, like, there probably should be some, hindsight. There should have been, like, hey, Twitch, I don't really think this was going to work out. But allow me to kind of take it off Twitch on their responsibility and kind of put it on a lot of these creators. Did they really need to test the line like this? Did a lot of these people need to do what they did to see if this was going to be a thing? Some of these people are like, well, why did I get banned? I thought I did the right thing. No, you didn't. You definitely didn't. Like, you did the wrong thing. We all saw it. We all laughed. We had a good time. But you started hurting the money. And I think you could have known that you did the bad thing. And, of course, Twitch doesn't really punish people like to the full extent that they need to. So some people are like, oh, well, I guess I don't do anything for like a day or two. I'll get back on the grind in a few days. But I got those 200 viewers, so they'll come back once they seen all my other content. I just needed to tease them a little bit. And it's just, again, I got to ask y'all, why? Why did y'all need to go insane for 24 hours and do things y'all would have never have done, even if the rules weren't even implemented? Like, it's weird, man. Why'd you do it?
It's not weird. It's advertising. If I can be that one person that pushes the limit,
I'll give you that.
And I lose a couple of viewers now, but I get a whole lot more subscribed to me. It was worth those 24 hours of pushing the boundaries, and I get banned for 2 days. But did you see how many people I added? As crazy as
I'll be honest. I'll be honest, you are correct. Like that's how I see it. Cause like I even went on like the art stuff and I saw a lot of people who had really low views that were kind of really pushed up. Right? Like, just I saw people in the right spot and people kind of, blowing up a little bit, but after a while it's like, okay, but did you really need? You knew Twitch was gonna have to have like roll this stuff back. We like it wasn't big streamers, right? Like it was like mainly all the ones that, like you said, just weren't really getting the exposure, and this one made it easier. Or some people who are getting moderate exposure, and now their Twitter's going wild. Now their Discord's going wild. Everybody's sharing that stuff. Like, oh, we already clipped it, so there ain't no point in trying to hide it at this point. So it's like everything's not out now. Like they've gotten the benefit, but now like y'all ruin kind of like any possibility for like certain games that can fly under a better radar. Now they can't, right? Like now there isn't a lot of stuff that could be done. People can't have people have to go back to being careful again. Like there was a way to have a good pocket of stuff, a good pocket of content exist that really needed, a lot of kind of like these rules to be in place. And I don't really think a lot of these people get that they ruined it, like severely kind of ruined like that prospect.
But you see how many more viewers we got. That's see what I'm getting to.
I know what you're getting at, man, but it's like there could have been something more with it, right? Like I guess that's for me. Like there could have been new forms of content. There could have been other stuff that we could have been able to evolve from this. This could have just been step one. But now it's like that meme of like, oh, let me go out the box. Never again. Like that's basically what happened to Twitch. And I see now a lot of people say, hey, Twitch, you're stupid. Why did you do that? And it's like, but I'm not the one who put out the content. I'm just trying to help.
If Twitch really, really wanted to try and change the ability to have forms of nudity on their content and stuff like that, the way they should have kind of gone about it is just kind of create like a partner website that's Twitch. Like Twitch, put acronym on it and stuff like that. You go to that one to get more explicit content stuff and everything that it's allowed on it and stuff like that. That way your correct advertisers can go ahead and keep on wanting to promote their stuff they want to on that website and those streams and stuff like that. That way the ones you have now, because humans are weird, man. Humans are pervy and humans just want to push that button. You know what I mean? It's kind of what we do. And so once you go, especially now with like internet and streaming, such as like a easier thing to go by because you can just stream on your phone if you want. It's like, oh, I could do this. I could do nudity, but it has to be under this. All right, I can figure out how to make this okay. This is gonna be all right. And a lot of times, sometimes people don't even know they're doing something that's bad, or you know what I mean. Do like so. A lot of people really, when you work with people, you realize that your general public just sometimes it's just not there. It doesn't click on things, and they just go, "What am I doing wrong?" And it's like you have to take a breather. And I think that's what Twitch kind of did. They went, and there was that one person in the back of the guy who's like, I told you they're gonna do this. I told you they were gonna take it to the limit and make it too much." And the guy was like, I just had more faith in humanity when I pressed the go button for this to go live. I just thought it would be kind of cool. And the other people in the back are like, this guy, he's an idiot. He trusted these people to go ahead and abide by the rules and not try to bend them.
And yeah, and essentially you did, man. It's just like another example of humanity has not restored the faith. Like it's like we just can't trust people. Can't trust can't trust these people. Just not just like, hey man, y'all created this whole tub meta thing, and now like they had to address it, but now you had to go past that. Now we got to do the most and stuff. And I guess it was just like this was wrong no matter how y'all did it. Like there wasn't really any, oh, let's test the limits on this. Like no, like if you're still doing crazy stuff, it's weird. Like if you would have watched someone else and be like, hey, I see what they're doing, but that's still kind of weird. Like Twitch is more likely going to see it the same way, right? It's just like why, man? Like, why ruin it for everybody? Like, why do this knowing that like maybe you might get some exposure, but you'll probably lose it because obviously you can't do this again.
Come on, Chris, say it with me.
Right? Like it's like
say it with me, Chris. Did you see how many more viewers I got though? That's why. It's not like, oh, I'm thinking about the community. Did you see the amount of viewers I got added to my channel though? You messed up the community, but the viewership though, that one, the community got blown up because of your decisions to push that. But my viewership, the views, man, I got new subs.
And like,
I gotta follow
on Twitch. Like, if you're gonna do this and test the waters, you don't burst the gate open like that, man. You just don't. You swivel it open and let one little thing walk out. See how that's working, because that it definitely limits. It's like, all right, cool. Now, okay, this is working. Let's push the door open a little bit more. All right. Oh, too far, pull it back. All right, cool. Instead, they just went, all right, this is what we're going to do, guys. We're going to do it. Let's go. And then they went, oh, no. It didn't work out. It's like, no, man. You got to.
It's like,
as a big company like that, you got to look at you slowly. Don't force it.
It's like the Netflix thing, the password sharing. We're going to roll this out in a couple places. Don't worry, you're okay. But we're going to roll this out, and maybe we're coming to you, but we're just going to roll it out in a couple places. Don't worry, it'll be here next month, but don't worry, everything's all fine. Same thing with Twitch. Like, I can understand the advertiser's point of view. It's a role of Charmin. Why? Will she use it? Oh my god! Like, I can understand the advertiser.
The poor toilet paper bears. Why? I did not know he was hung that well. I did not need to know that.
God, this is not what the bears were meant for. Jesus. Look, I just if I was an advertiser, I would be a little bit like, this is a food product. Why? Like, but yeah, I understand. It's just I guess they just have to come up with better AI or algorithms or something where it goes, look, these advertisements are for this kind of category. We need to fit them to these kind of videos and set up a category that, look, these advertisements go with these categories. If you're into that other stuff, hey, we got Adam and Eve for you right over here, bro. Like, but as far as everyday videos, your advertisement will not be played over here with Adam and Eve. We'll keep you here, Care Bears, or whatever you want on the safe side. But I think for me it's just an implementation problem. You know what these advertisements are for. Can you get people to self-police as far as what their video and categories are, to be able to say, okay, this is what your video is about? Okay, we'll set you up here with these ads. You're still going to have people going, yeah, but I need a fresh audience. I'm all about the kids, and I'm doing stuff for furries, and put your ads here. I don't care. I need a bigger audience. You're always going to have a nefarious side to these things, but, the whole idea is, can you find a way to make it more self-policing where you don't have to worry about, oh, we have these rules, this AI detects that it's doing these sort of things. There are advertisers that are looking for that kind of category. We will put you for people that will more than likely buy or look into your product with that category, and still have a different category for, the safer things that everyday people want to get. It's still some policing. You're still, monitoring, but
you have to. I mean, Deshaun, we both worked at Walmart. You saw throughout the years of Black Friday nights how they eventually kept changing because Walmart went, oh, that didn't work. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, that didn't work. It's like, yeah, you gotta figure out. You can't just let the masses go, because when you let the masses go, they're gone. They're like the Flash. They're out of here and going around the world as fast as they can.
Well, a lot of them were just sharks in the bloody water. Like it would just they were the whole black palettes and people going,
Oh my god.
yeah, I think that's it right there. You know, you got a little kid like, I see some games. It's like, you know, oh god. But
Yeah, thanks to this conversation, I won't be able to look at Charmin and fairies again. They're like, oh, Charmin, oh, why?
Your kids are gonna see the commercial. Don't look! Don't look!
it's like I'm going to bring
channel.
it. It's time to talk about some furry stuff. Brought to you by Sherman. It was like, remember, it's like you only need one. And
If that's your community, cool. But it just makes me laugh because when you pull in from all those things, everybody has the niche or the kink. Best of luck to you. It's cool with me, man.
but it's funny because it's like Twitch's own algorithm can't support these changes. Like it's just not done in a way to really mitigate this. Like even if you do have the tags and all that, they're still doing the bigger number better. So whoever has the most, you know, the just viewers,
Yeah,
we put them at the top. You know,
Yeah.
and I kind of thought about it because like I know there was a lot of stuff earlier about some of the Twitch stuff about like, you know, like people embedding views and all that other jazz and stuff like that. And I always thought, it's like, well, why does not Twitch do stuff based on the engagement, not the views themselves, but like literally like are people talking in the chat and how many messages are being fed per second?
Yeah.
Like if you got like 100 messages, you know, over this constant rate of time per second, like that's the stuff that you need to put in front. Like, hey, this is where everybody's at. Like we're at this party. Like this is the rave everybody wanted to be at. Like, yeah, but there's only 300 people there. It's like, yeah, but they obviously talking about something, man. Like, man, like they blew up the server. Like, that's what we need to go talk about. Like,
follow the engagement.
It's weird that they don't have a. Yeah, well, it's just weird that they don't have a better way of handling this.
Yeah.
Like that.
You know what it is though? It's they're using the same model of old school TV. Is that's what it is? Like they're basically just going, oh, like this one's having all the views, so we're gonna propagate and push this one forward and stuff like that. That's just the way TVs have done it for years and stuff like that. But Twitch is a completely different, you know what I mean, animal and stuff like that, and it's not TV. Yes, you're watching stuff and everything like that, and you kind of want to try to have the illusion that it's TV, but it's not because you actually have people who can engage in the chat and actually react to things and change things up with the streamer is doing by how they reacted, and that's where they need to change the ideas and change of it to kind of go and switch it around. But Twitch is so big right now and so hard to, it's really hard to think about if you're going to do that because the people who are making their money off of just people watching and not interacting, now they're going to be like, hey, you changed this on me and now it's hurting me. So like they kind of have themselves in a bind at this point where it's like they can't just change the system. They shouldn't do what they did with like the policy and just change like that. If they needed to find a way to start tweaking it and easing its way to be like, hey, this is why we're doing this, and explaining why you're going to change it that way and how it makes more sense.
And that's like the weirdest thing too, though, is they're a tech company that has to answer to Amazon, whose job is to kind of cut out old ways of how people think. Like as bad as some of the policies are, like they found out why would I do it that way when I know this way works better? And it's weird for Twitch to be like, we are a high tech company. We've, work on as the best server kind of space. We have a lot of our stuff. We're managing a lot of people and stuff. But they're going to play by like old TV rules that people are already kind of getting away of because a lot of people just don't watch regular TV anymore. It's like a lot of people like doing stuff on apps. Even if they're watching regular TV, they're probably doing it on the app rather than just paying for the cable.
Right. Or just the regular over-the-air rabbit ears.
Yeah. And so it's weird to see them like follow this thing that's like this clearly doesn't work. Like it's weird. I just don't feel like they've really evolved. And I think that's like the most common criticism about Twitch is like they haven't really evolved their algorithm, kind of like how YouTube is right now.
Yeah.
That's the problem though. Like if you can, even if you have all that insane amount of engagement, it really does come back to the numbers, to the viewership. Because you'll see that like that's one big thing for Netflix. We know you guys love this show. If you have a set of group of people that love this show, we got you. The numbers aren't there to justify the cost to continue to have this show for the few people that are fanatically loving this show. So we're cutting it. And that sucks for you people that were die hard, but it's not pulling in the viewers to justify our costs to be able to continue that show. And like one
But the
Lucifer was supposed to be canceled, and then I think they picked up another 2 seasons for it. It was like 6 and 7, I believe, but Netflix picked it up and bought out the show because people were like, we love this show, we want more of this show, like give us more of this show. And once they brought it back, and yeah, you got the support, you got rah, you're championing it. But once you got that first season proving, okay, a lot of people actually do love this show, and a lot more people got engaged because of the outcry of cutting out the show, now we can justify paying the cost to bring this show back because it's bringing in the viewership, and it's owned now by us. So if they want it, they have to come here. So they had to cut it first to get the viewership, to get more seasons to be able to do it. And unfortunately, Twitch seems to be the same way.
Well, it's weird because like Netflix, they're also a company that's like, we don't really care how many times you click the button. We care about the hours spent.
Yeah.
Like Lucifer had hours. They brought up there's a show called Night Agent or whatever that
I heard about it.
had billion of hours, I think. And I have never seen or heard of this show.
Same here.
But it has content. I obviously don't think it had viewers, but it had time. Whoever watched it on repeat. And YouTube does this pretty well. Because YouTube, there is stuff that you have never seen. YouTube isn't like a top pyramid thing and stuff always kind of goes down. They have their categories. But there is stuff that you just will never see, and they will have the viewership and the engagement. But they'll have the engagement more because that's the only way that stuff really grows, right? It's like, yeah, like 2 million people saw it, but literally 5 people comment on it. So that's why you never saw it. Versus like 2,000 people viewed it, but for some reason, this was the talk of the town. Like, I didn't even know naked yoga was a thing. And yeah, that thing is blowing up on there. Like, I was like, what is this? Like, that was just a good example of like, I didn't even know YouTube allowed this stuff on the content. And it's not really like naked or whatever. It just used the name. And it was like, yeah, we're just going to do this. We're not doing all the bad stuff. It's just, you like that name, that caught your eye, and that's why we called it. But I would have never done it because YouTube does a good job of saying, yeah, we don't need that on the front page. Like, I don't know what this is, but it's weird. We can't put weird on the front page unless it's like, you know, crazy, get the kids riled up weird. Like, they like science weird. I don't know what this is, but people like it, so I'm going to put it in their corner. It's going to be over there.
Right.
Let them have fun with it. And then we'll find more people who do like it and put them in that corner too. We will group them. Twitch is like, nah, this is the hottest thing that I've ever seen in my life. Everybody needs to know.
Yeah.
It's the first thing like, oh yeah, but what about this new game? No, get it out. I don't know what they're doing, but this is it. This has numbers. We like viewer numbers, and are very archaic.
Yeah.
It's very
I can understand
weird. So
yeah, even the Night Agent thing, the YouTube channel I normally watch, the guy on there said the same thing. Like, Night Agent's blowing up. I haven't heard a thing about this thing. And then yeah, later on he came back. He was like, okay, yeah, it was good. I liked it. So now here we go. Now I got to add something else to my stuff to watch.
I know what YouTube like video now you're watching.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, nope, that's exactly what he said. And it's like one of those things, right? Like, it's like, dang, I didn't, you know, but that's just how big the content is. But it just seems like Twitch's content seems so small and narrow. Like, it doesn't seem like you're really missing anything. Like, if like you're just, it's like a lot of people kind of doing the same thing, but just in a very like, okay, maybe I don't know what I'm missing, but I just feel like I'm not missing much. Like, I feel like I got the for the first story on page one versus like I said, YouTube could just have hidden gems, and YouTube can be hiding an entire world from you that it just doesn't say. For sometimes for the worse, but sometimes they're just like, yeah, no, we know how to handle the bad and the good, and if it's neutral, the algorithm knows how to test it and deal with it. And it's like that's just a thing that they do. Now they might not be the best for live content, but that's just proficiency. They don't know how to really deal with that. Like they see what Twitch is doing, but they're not really willing to like dive into it. And that's really the only thing. And it's like, yeah, we'll play our own game, but we're just gonna be very slow because that's just how big companies are. They're very slow with being drastic changes. But that's what it just seemed kind of weird, because that Twitch is going to do a policy change, but not have the infrastructure to really deal with it at its worst. And it always seems like stuff just blow up.
Yeah, do what Netflix does. Just test it out in certain regions first.
Yeah, absolutely. So you do, like I said, you open that door just a little bit, and that way you get an idea of what's going on, because then you could actually get some numbers on it and see what the algorithms are doing and see how they're interacting with, their advertisements and stuff like that, and be like, okay, now we can work off of this and build up more. But Twitch is definitely one of those companies where they kind of just every now once in a while just kind of go like balls to the wall, and you're like, Twitch, why? Stop. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. You just pulled it back. Yep. Okay, Twitch.
Hey, look,
I could have told you that.
they're the hard. We got to learn this the hard way. Ones of these companies.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't do that. Of course, you're gonna do that. Did it hurt? Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you learned something. Let's not do that. Oh, that was my co-host, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, you and your own furry content going on in the show and stuff like that.
Hey, look. Some people got dogs. I got a cat that likes to be in the shot. Isn't that right, little?
But those viewers, though.
How many more views did you get with that cat?
All right. Well, that was the last topic for today. I'm glad we were kind of ended on a really high note and stuff like that. And I think I got some stuff on my chest. I was just like, I needed to talk to someone else about this. So now I can enjoy the right doing.
Use the finger on the phone
somewhere. And, tell us, give us some feedback. Give us all the stuff. We're not afraid to kind of hear it and say it and all that. But Christmas is coming. Y'all better be ready. So we're gonna give you back some time to go get that present that you did not get. We know you didn't get it. She's gonna be mad.
Yeah,
they're gonna be mad. I'm just letting you know right now. So go ahead, click off. The video's done, and I appreciate you. Take care, everybody.